Hello and welcome to the Will or Trust What's Your Plan podcast. I'm Terence Quinn, an estate planning attorney dedicated to helping families like yours secure their futures and protect their assets. Episode 9, Will or Trust What's Your Plan? I'm Terence Quinn. Thank you for watching today. Let's jump right in. We're bringing this podcast to a close almost. Today we're going to talk about additional ideas and other specific goals. We're going to zero in specifically on long-term care matters, including Medicaid support, as well as special needs things. I might talk a little bit about life insurance as well. Let me read something from the book, Will or Trust, all about Medicaid coverage and planning. Watch this. Medicaid, not Medicare, we're talking about Medicaid, can play a crucial role in covering long-term care expenses, and understanding its eligibility requirements is key. Estate planning can involve strategies to preserve assets while maintaining eligibility for Medicaid benefits. Let's start there with Medicaid. Remember that question out of the two most important questions. Question number 2 is, if you suddenly couldn't make decisions for yourself, who would make decisions for you and what would they decide? Remember that? Let's say you ventured to that place where you could not make decisions for yourself, and not only that, you couldn't care for yourself anymore. We all have experienced someone who's reached that place in life. Let's say it was you and you needed skilled nursing care. Well, right now in many states, I know in Michigan where I am, the average cost of long-term care in a nursing facility is $8,000 a month. And that's just right now. It continues to grow. Well, they want that money. If you're in that nursing facility, they want to be paid. And they look to you to pay them every single month. And many of my clients have saved enough. I just talked to a woman the other day who's looking at this for her husband. And she said, well, I've saved enough. I used to be a financial planner years ago in an earlier life, and I've saved enough where I can cover the cost. So we don't need Medicaid and all that kind of stuff. So she's willing to pay the $8,000 a month for the care of her husband. Well, that's fine. But if you're in a situation where you don't think you can cover that, there are a couple of options that come to mind. First of all is long-term care insurance. It's in the book. I talk about this in the book. I am a big proponent of long-term care insurance. Now, you figure out what you need to do in your situation. Talk to an insurance agent about it. Long-term care insurance is very expensive, but in my experience as an elder law attorney and estate planning attorney, if you need long-term care, you end up really wishing you had the long-term care insurance. And so what it is insurance designed to cover the cost of that care that you need, that skilled nursing care that you're going to need potentially going forward for a period of time. So that's something to consider. Contact your insurance agent and talk about that. But if you don't have the cash to self-fund, if you don't have a long-term care insurance policy, then what you're probably waiting on or limited to is the Medicaid opportunity. So Medicaid is a federal program that's administered through the states. And what it does in this situation is it allows you to apply so that the state can cover the cost of your care. Now, they're going to cover much of the cost, typically not all of it. Your income has to cover what it can cover, and they'll typically cover the rest of it in most states. If you qualify, and you got to prove that you can qualify by how much you have in assets and that you actually need the long-term care in the first place. And you want to see an elder law attorney to help you get qualified in the legal, legitimate way. My encouragement is not to try to qualify on your own and start moving assets and all of that. That's going to disqualify you for sure. You want to see an elder law attorney who can help you do that. But if you're in that place where your loved one or you needs that care and you can't afford it, then Medicaid is an option for you. Now let's back up before we get to that point. Every plan that I build, whether or not you have any health condition, because I do elder law and estate planning, I always incorporate into your plan different provisions that the average, even estate planning attorney wouldn't recognize if they don't do elder law, so that if you approach a place where you need that care, you've empowered people to do what they need to do to get Medicaid for you, even after you can't make decisions for yourself. But let's say you're in a place where you need it and you can make decisions for yourself. There are opportunities to build Medicaid trusts, for example, where you put just remember, we got to get rid of assets so you can qualify for, not financially, and there are legal ways to do so. One of those ways is to build what's called a Medicaid trust. It's really fancy. Don't try to do it on your own, but build a Medicaid trust, and you can dump those assets into that trust in the right kind of way. And the state, if it's drafted correctly, this is one of many options, will allow you to be qualified so that they cover the costs. Typically though, I know in Michigan, the caveat is that trust requires that the state be paid back upon your passing the money that they put in before anything else is distributed to anybody. So it's just another option, just another tool. There's several things that we can use to take care of your situation, and the experienced attorney should be able to help you do that. Speaking of which, let's talk about the final component for this session, which is dealing with special needs needs matters. Now, I alluded to this in an earlier episode, but let's just say, as an example, you have a child who has a special need. Maybe they have a condition like Down syndrome, or they're from the autism spectrum, on the far end of the autism spectrum, or something like that. And they do qualify for needs-based governmental support and are benefiting from that, or you suspect that they will in the future. And then you build a plan, and what a lot of people will do is leave that child as a beneficiary on their account, or do a will or even a trust. With the average regular attorney who doesn't truly specialize, they'll do a trust and leave those assets for the benefit of the child in the trust. And what they don't realize is those regular plans are probably going to disqualify that child from that needs-based governmental support whenever you're gone. You were just trying to do the right thing. Well, there are special needs trusts that can be built where you are leaving those assets for the benefit of the child, but only in ways where they won't be disqualified from that governmental support. It's very specific, it's fairly complex, and it's very intentional, the wording in those tools, to make sure that that happens. But it's very legal as well, if you do it correctly. So just some things to talk about today when we talk about these additional considerations and ideas. Medicaid is an option for long-term care. Medicaid trusts are a way to help qualify for it when it's important to use that. Special needs trusts for family members who have a special need, so we can cause them to benefit from your assets without being disqualified from governmental support. There are a lot of tools, there are a lot of things that are involved. If you find yourself in any one of those situations, make sure you raise that at the beginning of your meeting, at the beginning of your interview of the attorney that you're meeting with, so that they can let you know if they're equipped to help you plan around those things. And if they are, make sure you consider this chapter in the book, which is chapter 10, and also make sure you watch this episode 9. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Terence Quinn. Thanks for watching. As you're listening, you might be wondering, what's the next step for me? If you're ready to start securing your family's future, head over to tquinn25.com and book a free consultation with me. Together, we'll create a plan tailored to your specific needs. But don't wait. Your future deserves it. That's it for this episode of Will or Trust, What's Your Plan? I hope you found today's discussion valuable and are feeling more confident about your estate planning journey. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on more strategies to protect your legacy and your loved ones. Until next time, take care of what matters most.